I'm just waiting for the water to boil. What this waiting has to do with lean wastes? Let's find this out together. In our last video, Leandership addressed excellence, the attitude of always doing the best, with great care and dedication, until we have the chance to do even better. As Ayrton Senna said, with regard to performance, commitment, effort, dedication, there is no middle ground. You either do something well or you don't. So how about doing it well? This week we will talk about some more wastes that Lean seeks to combat. Today we will talk about excess of transport and also waiting. After all, who likes to wait to spend hours to reach their final destination? It is worth remembering that Lean seeks to eliminate waste, and by waste we can define any effort, investment or work that does not add any value to the product or to the service, which must be eliminated or minimized. When we think about our routines, for example, I believe no one here likes to spend hours or minutes in a bank line. After all, those minutes would be wasted in our lives, right? Now, imagine a professional environment, an employee waiting with arms crossed, or a machine waiting for an operation to be performed. This is the waste of waiting, which must be minimized or preferably eliminated. In the case of an employee who eventually waits for the machine to perform some processing, it is possible to direct this employee to perform another activity in parallel while he waits the machine to finish processing. To make it clear, think about of the following situation. When you put the coffee water to boil, we can wait for the water to boil or in front of the stove, or we can perform other activities such as setting the table, right? In the case of a machine waiting, it is necessary to observe and to evaluate the reasons for these stops in order to minimize them. For example, a machine may be idle waiting for a setup. In this case, it is an activity that does not add value to the product, but it needs to be carried out. To minimize the setup time, there are techniques that we already presented here at Leandership, such as SMED, single minute exchange of die. If a machine is stopped for some other reasons, the so-called downtimes, the causes of this downtime must be addressed, must be investigated, so they can be minimized. In this case, think about preparing a barbecue. Your refrigerator is sitting next to your grill with the door open, and you load a bottle of soda, for example. And then to load the second one, the door is open, you go all the way to your garage to pick inside your car another bottle and put inside. Then back and forth until you fill your refrigerator with soda, right? This door open is a waiting time for the refrigerator. So when the door is closed, the refrigerator can perform the activity or the process, which is to cool the soda. Now, as I talked already about going to the car back and forth, let's talk about the excess of transport. Moving raw materials or finished goods does not add any value to the product, as we said. Every movement is performed by someone or some machine or device in the most automated cases. Both ways require a resource to perform this movement. In this regard, it is important that the items are close to the point of use. And when we think about transporting or moving people, it also makes sense for people who has the biggest or the greatest interaction to stay in the apartment or near to each other or the nearest offices as possible. The maintenance department, for example, should be closer to the machine and not closer to the entrance gate, for example, right? To illustrate the situation, it would not make sense to have the pantry in your room, in your bedroom, as most items will be used in the kitchen, right? Imagine with each meal having to transport one or a few products throughout your house. To minimize the waste of transportation or the excess of transportation, it is important to evaluate layout and flow, avoiding crossed flows and also flows out of sequence. One process here, the next process here, and the third process in the middle. To improve your excessive transport, think about a gamble walk or caissons. For example, we already addressed this situation, those examples here at Leandership. With process owners, operators, and outsiders, it will be possible to have different and complementary views and ideas of those two wastes. I believe that at this point you have managed to understand and can already think about these wastes in your work, in your house, for example. Don't let these wastes bother you. Go ahead and improve them. Don't forget also to subscribe here to the channel, hit the like button, follow us on social media. Next week, Leandership will bring more content made especially for you. See you soon!